everyone. Welcome to the Analytics Power Hour YouTube channel. What? Yeah, that's right. We've kicked off our YouTube channel, and what you'll find on our channel is our podcast and maybe every so often a little snippet here or there of video content that we think up. But mostly it's going to be episodes of our podcast in our old catalog, and so just easier to find, easier for people to discover. But we wanted to give you a little flavor of what this podcast is all about. We're a bunch of analytics people. And we love analytics, we love working with the tools, we love working with the people, we love thinking through the processes. And every person on the show kind of brings their own perspective and their own expertise and approach to it. And so we get a lot of coverage and perspective on the show, as you'll see if you listen to some of our episodes. But I won't sit here and talk about everyone. I'll introduce all of my co-hosts. And then as I introduce you, maybe each of you could just share one of your favorite episodes that we've done in the past. So if people wanted to go listen to one, maybe which one would you recommend?
Which one of your children is your favorite child, Michael? Just if you know.
Yeah, which child? Well, now that you mention it, Moe, you're my favorite co-host. No, I'm just kidding.
We knew that.
Okay, I'm going to take it. I'm going
to start with you, Moe. Do you want to just give a little background and then maybe share your favorite, one of your favorite episodes?
Sure. So I'm a director of data science for marketing at Canva, and I have been involved with the podcast for many years now, and it continues to just be such a interesting way of like me staying up to date on the industry and what's happening. And I also get to share a bit about, I guess, what's happening in like the tech industry, client side, and that sort of thing. And the episode that really stands out to me is the one we did a few years ago with Aubrey Blanche about creating balanced teams and avoiding groupthink. It really got to the heart of like why diversity of thought is such an important concept. And it's something that I still reflect on today in my day-to-day work.
I feel like I basically harken back to that and reference it when somebody's being a doofus about DEI stuff.
Yep.
Like the case was, yeah. Excellent.
And now going from favorite to least favorite, Tim. No, I'm just kidding. Tim, what's your? Why don't you introduce yourself?
So Tim Wilson, the oldest member of the podcast crew until the elder statesman who is the least statesmanlike, least diplomatic. Day job, head of solutions at Facts and Feelings. Been in the space for a couple of decades, which I was actually realizing is like, oh, I've been doing the podcast for like half of my career in analytics, which is kind of wild.
Wow.
So,
I know
but we've been doing this podcast for a while. And my absolute favorite episode is that one, like the next one that's coming out from when you're watching this right now. Like, it's amazing. Can't say what it is right now, but it's coming out in a week or two. So as of the recording, one that I go to a lot and think about is number 182, which was with Cassie Kozyrkov. It's called Making Better Decisions and Being Useful with Cassie Kozyrkov. At the time, she was the chief decision scientist at Google. And what I loved about it is that she kind of intellectually, technically, statistics, data science, AI, machine learning can run circles around most of the people on the planet, and yet she really, really talked about like don't get wrapped up in that. Think about being useful and don't get caught up in kind of all of the fancy stuff. Get over yourself. She also, I think, abused me. But lightheartedly.
I challenged you constructively.
Possibly because Moe sent an extra link to a document that was, from a previous episode. But I'll get over that at some point. But
never.
I've gotten to hang out with her since. I mean, it was a blast.
There's wisdom, Tim, and just sort of a bit of brevity. Maybe just. All right, let's move on. Val Kroll, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So you said the name, Val Kroll. I'm co-founder and head of delivery at Facts and Feelings. And I am one of the newer members of the podcast, coming up on the 1-year anniversary of being a fish, Right? It's almost been a year.
As of this recording, but these videos, somebody be looking at this 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Tim's going to give me a hard time for that one later.
The concept of time frozen in the amber of YouTube.
But really enjoyed being able to join this powerful crew. It's been just an absolute thrill. And so some of my favorite go-to episodes may or may not have been stolen by other people who are about to talk about theirs. So I'm actually going to share one. It was a guest-less episode. It was episode 245, which was our Dear APFY, the APH-Y, which was our listener call-in show. And that was really good for a lot of reasons, in my opinion. One was we loved hearing from our listeners and getting those questions. And they were really thoughtful, great questions that inspired some serious and also some not so serious conversation. And I just remember leaving with like an actual stomachache, laughing so hard, and had just such a great time recording it. And when I listened back to with my husband in the car and was still cracking up at our own jokes, he was like, "Wow, you guys are something else." So. So it's just a good time, but there's some good nuggets.
Possible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's the authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just being ourselves. All right, Julie, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Julie Hoyer. I'm an analytics lead at Further, and I was lucky enough to go from a listener, then to a guest co-host, which was a big enough deal, and then eventually joined the crew full-time with Val back in 2023. And I have loved every moment of it. Every episode has been so fun to record, and you kind of never know where the conversation's going to take you, which is my favorite part. And one of them that we recorded that was my favorite was 237 with Kathleen Maley, where we talked about better connecting the analytics crew with your business stakeholders for more meaningful work. And I just loved the way she was able to give a lot of great practical advice for building that relationship with your stakeholders. And she talked about it from, an analyst first starting your job all the way up to analytics leaders. So I loved that one.
Yeah,
That was really good. I remember listening to that one being like, can I work for you? Like, what
Right?
are you hiring? Like, I don't even care where you're at, but you're amazing.
Yeah,
I've also re-listened a couple times.
That was one I was listening to it live, but I wasn't one of the co-hosts.
yeah.
So I was just like sitting to like get. It was kind of like getting an audience of one live experience pre-edited, and I was like, oh, this is so interesting. So
I'm sure you wanted to jump in.
We baited
right.
you a couple times too, but you
Yeah.
you passed the test.
well, I always do that if I know Tim's in the background. All right, Josh, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Josh. By day, marketing analytics at AIA Group. By night, I'm producer on the show, so I'm mostly behind the scenes, but I've been producing Analytics Power Hour for 5 years, apparently. LinkedIn just gave me an anniversary reminder of that. So, 5 years doing this, so it's been awesome.
making Val feel better about time
Yeah.
the video. That's good. Yeah.
We'll both be in the doghouse, Josh.
So if I could call out one episode, I picked the International Women's Day episode from this year, number 240, which was Asking Better Questions with Taylor Bunnacor Guthrie. This is a killer episode. Like, really, the guest was amazing. The amazing tactical advice. I listened to it 3 times, and I actually had to dibs this episode, which was controversial because apparently 2 other hosts wanted to shout it out as well. So definitely.
That episode has changed my career. It's changed my career.
Honestly, like, absolutely fabulous. I recommend everybody also go listen to it 3 times. Just
At least.
Yeah, it's awesome. So just really practical, and one of my all-time favorites. So that would be the one I would go with.
Just probably
That's
worth
awesome.
calling out that Josh, behind the scenes, it's not just a save as and post. There is, in
Gosh,
that
no.
actually specific episode was one of the behind the scenes technology challenge, not due to the guest, not to anybody who was on it, but so Josh does a lot to make the listening experience pleasant, even if the recording
Preach.
experience was a little more choppy. So none of us
labor
are
of love.
paid professionals on that front, but we feel like we've gotten feedback that we're closer to the pros than many podcasts that operate this way.
Yeah,
Thank you, Josh.
Yes.
The best.
very much.
And Josh
All right.
does make occasional appearances on the mic. So
That's right.
This is
Now
true.
and then.
All right, and I'm Michael Helbling, and I run a small analytics consultancy called Stacked Analytics. And I think, to me, the best episodes are ones where you really just have like a really great conversation with someone, where the ideas are just flowing back and forth, and it's sparking things, and we don't even realize how long we've been talking until suddenly we pop up and it's like, oh, we've already gone an hour. And that's one of the ones that sort of just exemplifies that for me was episode 216, where we talked about a culture of experimentation with Lucas Vermeer. And it was actually, that was another tricky one for Josh to edit, because we literally just started talking and didn't even start the show for like 15 minutes. It was just so natural and so awesome to just sort of like get into that topic with Lucas. So anyways, I remember that one really fondly. So you can hear there's a ton of different topics, things we cover. We've been doing the podcast for a long time. There's over 250 episodes you can experience, and we urge you to dig in. We'll soon add more things to the channel to maybe give you some guidance on different topics and things like that to make browsing this area easier. But we also love to hear from listeners, and so as we kind of get this YouTube channel off the ground, as all the YouTubers have taught us, just like it, subscribe, turn on your notifications, whatever we're supposed to say at this point. And if you do leave comments, Tim will probably be the first to read them, so be kind. And, we love to hear from you. We'll see you out there on the internet. And remember, whether you listen on Spotify, iTunes, or whatever, or on YouTube, just keep analyzing.
I'm gonna rise up, I'm gonna kick a little ass, gonna kick some ass in the USA. I'm gonna climb a mountain, gonna sew a flag, gonna fly on an eagle, gonna kick some butt, I'm gonna drive a big truck, gonna rule this world, gonna kick some ass, gonna rise up, kick a little ass, and rock flag and podcast.
You deserve the jean jacket now. 'Cause I have a vision for a jean jacket that goes with that song with the podcast logo on the back.
Amazing.
So now we have to make that.